Every single pundit in finance right now is calling for runaway inflation. What if they're wrong? On June 29th, we are hosting the Q2 Wrap-Up Summit right here on my YouTube channel. My name is Jay Martin. I'm the CEO of Cambridge House. And if you're a subscriber to this channel, you've seen me sit down with guests such as Prime Minister Stephen Harper, Raoul Pal, founder of Real Vision Television, Jamie Rogers, legendary investor, and hundreds more. I love doing this. What I do is analyze the macro landscape with the intention of discovering early stage investment opportunities. Now, at the end of each quarter, I host a quarterly wrap-up summit where we dive into everything that occurred in the previous 3 months, determine where we were correct in our previous forecast, where we're on track, where we're way off, what's changed, and how we need to adjust our portfolio and our investment strategy for the balance of the year. So on Tuesday, June 29th, I'm hosting the Q2 Wrap-Up Summit right here on the YouTube channel, and I have a rock star lineup of guests joining me. Starting with Danielle Park, the President and Portfolio Manager at Venable Park Investment Counsel. I'll be joined by Dr. Lacy Hunt, the Chief Economist at Hoisington Investment Management. I'll be joined by Jeff Snider, the Chief Investment Strategist at Alhambra Investment Partners. I'll be joined by David Rosenberg, the founder of Rosenberg Research. Now, you can see what I did there. The first 4 guests are all deflationists because we have this overwhelming conviction in a runaway inflation thesis. What we need to do right now is stress test this and poke as many holes in it as possible. And so, yes, I gathered every deflationist worth their weight in salt to join me on the channel here. And they did a very good job at questioning this thesis. And it's important because if you're building your portfolio off of a runaway inflation thesis, if you're right, that's great. But if you're wrong, you can get absolutely destroyed. And so it's our job to scrub away any blind spots and make sure we're looking at both sides of the argument. I will also be joined by Frank Holmes, the CEO and Chief Investment Officer at US Global Investors, because Frank has his fingers in everything. And so at least once per quarter, I sit down with Frank to determine what's happening, his perspective in crypto, in the precious metals sector. He builds ETFs in aviation and now in the cargo and logistics sector. So he really does have his fingers on more things than any other fund manager that I know of. I'll be joined by Adrian Day, the founder of Adrian Day Asset Management, probably the buy-side investor in the precious metal sector that I have the most confidence in. And so we are going to dive into his precious metals forecast, his base metals forecast, and most importantly, where Adrian is putting capital right now, what I really care about. I'll be joined by the investor and professor Dave Collum, who I've had on the show before and who has become a crowd favorite. Tony Greer, the macroeconomic analyst and the editor of the Morning Navigator. And I'll be joined by a new guest, which I am very excited about, George Gammon, the rebel capitalist. Now, I've been a longtime listener of George's podcast and viewer of George's YouTube channel, and so I'm very excited to have him on the show. I don't know anybody that geeks out on macro as much as George Gammon, and so I'm very much looking forward to having him on the show and determining what is catching his attention right now, where he's spending most of his time focusing, and any red flags he feels are off most individuals and investors' radars. So June 29th, Tuesday, right here on the YouTube channel, the Q2 Wrap-Up Summit. We're going to stress test this inflation thesis. I'll also be joined by a small handful of early stage investment opportunities because that's where I love to spend my time and make my money. So Tuesday, June 29th, right here on the YouTube channel, the Q2 Wrap-Up Summit. I hope to see you there.